Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
I can't stop thinking about this football team. It's on my mind 24/7. This game on Sunday, it is going so slow to get there. The Sixers just had a beautiful win against Ben Simmons. Joel Embiid is literally putting out content on social media with the DX celebration and all. It was outrageous. Yet I'm thinking about this football team. I'm thinking about Jalen Hurts. I got my eye on the prize, damn it. I want that Super Bowl appearance, and I need it now. Today, there was a lot of drama about the AP and their list of players and their finalists for a lot of individual awards. Now, I have to be honest with you. Personally, I don't care as much as other people. I understand the frustration. I know why it's annoying. I see that the message sent from the Associated Press, it doesn't make much sense. And there's plenty of Eagles, Haason Reddick, Brandon Graham, Nick Sirianni, who definitely deserve more recognition. I do feel that that locker room is going to use that as motivation. And if they do, that's great. They're already highly motivated players. If you add and sprinkle on more, then so be it. All I can speak from, though, is my personal feeling towards it. And my personal feeling towards it is, it's something I use very similarly to when I watched Joel Embiid, ironically enough, just to kind of tie the two together, I guess. I know that Joel Embiid is going to get snubbed from the MVP. With that said, I won't allow that to take away from my experience watching him dominate every night. If he gives you 40, if he gives you 50, if he gives you 46, if he gives you 37 and 14, whatever the night is, I'm aware that the individual accolades might not be there by the end of the season. With that said, I still get one of the most exciting players on a night-to-night basis throughout the NBA season. I'm going to focus on that. I feel the same way with Nick Sirianni right now. He got snubbed from not being a finalist when you look at Kyle Shanahan being a finalist. I think the biggest issue, though, with the AP Coach of the Year award, it's not really the Coach of the Year. What it is who fell in that above average range award? Who was a team that stunk last year and then lost in the first round of the playoffs this year award? That's kind of what it is. If Kyle Shanahan was removed, so they take three finalists. It's Brian Dable, it's Doug Peterson, and it's Kyle Shanahan. If you removed Kyle Shanahan and Dan Campbell was in there, or if you remove Dan Campbell and you put in Mike Tomlin. Now, Mike Tomlin's pedigree, the longness of his career speaks for itself. But in regards to this season, it was a masterful job. But then you kind of understand the message that's being sent. Guys who did a little bit more with little. If you have great talent, most of the time, now Kyle Shanahan's in this group, which makes the messaging mixed, and that's the problem. But really, with Brian Dable, it's who can do a good job with lesser talent than the good teams. That should be the name of the award. Because Andy Reid can win Coach of the Year majority of the seasons that he coaches. Nick Sirianni, with the record that he had, specifically with his starting quarterback, they only lost one football game. That should be enough. And you would think, even if you're just a finalist and you don't win, having the record he had for Kyle Shanahan to be in there, stop it. I don't want to hear the quarterback thing. It's crazy. It's absurd. I get it. It's annoying. I won't personally lose sleep over it. It just seems like that's where we are right now, though. It's the disrespect week. Yesterday, it was Chris Sims, and there was some more coverage up in New York that was ripping apart this city and this team. And today, we're getting all sorts of nonsense. For example, Defensive Player of the Year, Micah Parsons, Bosa and Chris Jones. Haason Reddick has 16 sacks this year. Whether Bosa wins or not, whether Bosa deserves to win or not, the fact that Haason Reddick, if this doesn't give you a chance to win it, if this type of dominant season doesn't at least have you in the conversation of the final three, I don't know what else you can do. And I can say the same exact thing for Brandon Graham. The players that were selected, Geno Smith for comeback player of the year, he stunk. He was ass throughout his career. He didn't come back from anything. He was bad. And then he got the job when they made the trade, and then he played well. That's not tearing your Achilles and then having double-digit sacks, having one of the best seasons of your career this deep into your tenure. Right? Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey. How about Brian Robinson being in the conversation? The guy got shot. It blows my mind that this is where we're at. Once again, won't be the difference in taking away my excitement level for Sunday. I don't care. I just want to get to the Super Bowl. It's just hysterical that once again we're doing this. Now, I wonder, is it possible? I think this would be dumb, but I have to at least throw it out there. Is it possible that because Nick Sirianni doesn't call his own plays, they lost points? He lost points. Shane Steichen gained points because he's not calling the offensive plays, while Kyle Shanahan is the magical genius of creating scheme. Doug Peterson took a Jags team that was at the bottom and then had themselves playing some postseason ball. But you know about his offense. Man, did it get stale here at the end. Holy hell, did it get stale. And Brian Dable, listen to this. The Eagles went 3-0 against Brian Dable. The coach that beat Brian Dable all three times is going to be the one that doesn't even get his name recognized. It's just ridiculous. It really is. Haason Reddick, I can't remember a season like this. I really can't. He's literally everywhere. Now, Bosa's numbers are crazy. I believe he has 18 or 18 and a half sacks, something like that. But they talk about Micah Parsons like Haason Reddick isn't having a better season. He is. It's just what it is. He is. But every time Dallas plays, you can't get another word in because it's Micah Parsons. It's Parsons. Oh, look what they're doing with Parsons. Oh, Parsons. Yeah, I remember Nick Sirianni coming up with a game plan against Micah Parsons where he said, let's attack him all night long. Let's look in his direction and react to the moves he's going to make. Let's read and react. Let's pick on his ass. And that's what they did. And it was a chef's kiss game plan. But no, the coach, listen to how funny this is. The coach that abused one of your defensive player of the year finalist isn't even being talked about. You kind of see where I'm coming from here? You kind of see where the disconnect is? So I get that it's warranted to be truthfully disappointed because you feel they did the work. They earned it. And when you come out on top the way that you do, 14-3, would have been better if Gardner Minshew didn't have to play. They were a special group. And for being this unbelievable, you would think that the Associated Press would say, hey guys, congratulations. Let's give you a nice tip of the cap. You deserve it. Instead, it's a middle finger. Part of me also wonders, which would be sad, because this should be about objectivity and what's happening on the football field, but they know how much we care. And being talked about, the lists being retweeted, being quote tweeted, comments all over social media. I wonder at times, especially if a guy in New York like Brian Dable could win it. Think about all the publicity there while Nick Sirianni's getting all the hate. But I do have to say this, right? Because you think about it with sports, the best players in sports. And I'm not telling you Nick Sirianni's on this level at all. But Andy Reid, at some point, you just know he's one of the greatest, but he doesn't get the hardware. LeBron James, you could give him MVP every season. At one point, it gets boring. The Eagles don't have a Tom Brady. This isn't a Tom Brady-like run from the franchise. So I'm not acting as if it is, but sometimes you hit a certain level of great, and then you're out of the territory. You're out of the tier. I told you, they're not really looking for, especially for the coaches, the team with the best record. It's who fell in that above average range that wasn't projected to be above average. And that's sort of the tier they're looking for. So I'd rather not be in Doug Peterson's shoes. I'd rather not be in Brian Dable's shoes. I'd rather not be in a lot of these coaches, Dan Campbell's shoes. I like Mike Tomlin. I'm not in a bad position of Mike Tomlin's coaching my football team. And I like Kyle Shanahan. I don't think he's a bad coach at all. I think he has some clock management issues. I think he's coached soft at times. But I'd rather be in that tier that is above what they're looking for. The player stuff is just embarrassing, to be honest with you. Now, I keep looking at the screen. I feel like my hat's all crooked, and I can't stop looking at it. That's all I got for you. In regards to the hat, we have some more football, for sure. But how about Debo Samuel? How about what Debo Samuel had to say? Talking about the link, saying that the stadium out in California, louder. So funny. There's an individual who says Andy Reid is a fraud, the most overrated coach in football. Now, I sense that that's a troll because Andy Reid is one of the greatest coaches in the NFL's history. And if you don't see that, then you just don't know what you're watching, honestly. So Debo Samuel, the tone wasn't egregious, I won't lie to you. If you just saw the comment and people writing the tweet out on exactly what he said in the quote, you'd probably think it was a little bit harsher. Here's what Debo Samuel had to say about the link.
We know it's going to be loud, but no stadium is as loud as ours. But at the end of the day, they're at home in NFC Championship. They're going to be all riled up, and it don't really too much. We don't really too much feed into all that. We put the pads on and just go to work.
Well, you should be prepared. That should be a part of your preparation for the week. The Braves thought the same thing. Everyone throughout the World Series run in Philadelphia, oh, yeah, it's just another place to play. No, it's not. No, it's not. And I do believe that there are some cities out there that try and hype up their stadium to make it seem like it's bigger and it's louder and it's more hostile and it's hectic. And then you go out there on the field and you go, excuse me? You were telling us about what? This was easy, right? But that's not the case. And I think if you downplay it to yourself and just think, I'm going to go out there and play football, let's strap up the pads. I've played plenty of football before. Mental preparation is just as important as the physical preparation for a football game, for any sporting event. You got to be ready to play here. And that's one of the big keys to success, is have that place rocking. It's going to feel as if the entire stadium is moving. I don't think you get that. And something tells me he believes that the 49ers stadium is louder. And if that's the case, you're not going to be ready, which I would love that. And I can see it happening because I'm already hearing it. Plus, you go to their injury report and you take a look at Christian McCaffrey. You look at a lot of names on their injury report. They're going to play, but at what percentage are they going to be at is the question. Now, I'm going to pull up their injury report. The Eagles have Lane Johnson and Avonte Maddox. And Avonte Maddox, what? What? I asked Tim McManus today. I said, Tim, and I didn't expect him to be so adamant about it. I said, Tim, does Avonte Maddox have a chance to play? He goes, yeah, how about that? Nick Sirianni talking today. I'm like, what? Sometimes when we see the injury report or we hear noise that a player might be ready and we have someone on that day, I go, hey, so-and-so, practice, limited, what are you thinking? Well, it might be a little bit more time. Well, it's nice to see him out there, but I don't think he's going to get thrown right back into the fire. I don't think it's the week to put him out there. It's a little bit too early. Now, we're talking about an NFC championship game, and it's an go win or go home situation, so you don't have the luxury of waiting. I get it. At the same time, though, Avonte Maddox just bang, snap your fingers, and it's possible. Let's just keep our eye on that. But this injury report for San Francisco definitely had some names on it. It is Christian McCaffrey, calf, Debo Samuel, ankle, Mitchell, groin, and then Jimmy G and their quarterback Thomas. But those are important names to their offense. If they're at 70%, if they're at 75%, it's a different beast because you need everything when working with the third stringer. He needs as much help as humanly possible with these routes and with this scheme. He needs the details to be at 1,000. If I'm a San Francisco 49ers fan, I'm not hitting the panic button by any means because of a Wednesday practice report. But if you go look across the way, you can't put yourself in a better position physically this late in the season than the Eagles have right now. Lane Johnson will be good. You got no worries about him. He proved it to us last week. And Avonte Maddox, who's been hurt, and he had the turf toe. And now he's back out there. Talk about crisp. You know what else makes me laugh? There was a lot of fear in some Eagles fans' eyes about the Giants. I haven't spoken to one Eagles fan who was nervous yet. How could you quite possibly be tight about Daniel Jones and Brian Dable, a team that wasn't hot entering the playoffs at all, regardless of what they tried to tell you because they won one playoff game, one football game on the road. Down the stretch, they were pathetic. And the Eagles were 9,000 times better. And when you looked at how the Eagles were playing late, there was logical reasons why the team looked the way that they looked. Whether it was Lane Johnson, whether it was the backup quarterback. There was so much fear in the head coach. Oh my God, he's calling an awful game. No, he's not. There's worse players out there. That's what's happening. Don't forget who they are. And I made that very clear to everybody when the panic button was happening. I don't know, they're not playing their hottest football because their best players aren't playing right now. Because the best right tackle in football wasn't playing. Because the MVP of the league before getting hurt wasn't playing. When they play, they beat you 38-7. When they play, they go 14-1 in the regular season. That's what I saw. But it's almost, okay, they saw the dominance. So that was the remembering moment. That's right, that's the team. So they just needed to see that once. If the Eagles won 21-20 with some sort of epic ending where they squeezed by, there'd probably be a bunch more fear. But my point is, this isn't surprising. And even if they won 21-20, you know what I'd be saying? Doesn't matter. Because this is a new game. I've seen them have great games. I've seen them have games where they pulled it out when they probably shouldn't have won. I don't care. Get to the next game. All these teams that are left have done something similar. Not every 49ers win was a 30-point blowout to get here. Not every Kansas City Chiefs win was a 20-point victory where Pat Mahomes didn't have to play because it was a blowout in the fourth. Sometimes you squeeze it out regardless. This isn't surprising. So the confidence should have always been there, is really what I'm trying to stress. You want to look at a couple text messages? Okay. Want me to open up the Anytime Hotline folder? Okay. Hey, bros, it's Roman. Hello, Roman. I respect Purdy and the Niners, but this cute little Cinderella story ends on Sunday. Even disregarding Hurts, Fletcher, Brandon Graham, and Reddick, you best believe we will be ready to feast. I do think Jalen will outperform Purdy, but I'm just saying defense will most likely be the deciding factor. I think it's got to be both sides of the football. Now, I don't know why we're disregarding Jalen Hurts, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, and Reddick in your eyes. I'm not going to disregard them at all. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to regard them. You're going to disregard them. I'm going to regard them. I don't even know what that means. I'm telling you, though, I'm going to put the highlight on them and say they're going to play fantastic. Someone asked me today, who's going to be the Kenneth Gainwell of this game? I don't think there's going to be one, because I don't anticipate it being a 30-plus point blowout to the point where Miles Sanders isn't an emphasis. I think what's going to happen is A.J. Brown, Haason Reddick, Brandon Graham, Josh Sweat, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, your top players are going to outperform their top players. So instead of Kenneth Gainwell being the force, it's going to be the guys that you pay the big bucks. And I do think that there's going to be a time where fans might be a little unhappy with the lack of running because you can target this team in the passing game. And I think especially after the whole A.J. Brown on the sidelines thing that happened because he wants the football, that Nick Sirianni's going to force that a little bit. But it's also something that you can expose. It doesn't mean it's automatically dumb. You can target that. I also wonder if they're going to target Bosa and attack him. We're not afraid of you, especially with what you know this team can do with run blocking all throughout their players. Just something in the back of my head goes, they might say, all right, bring it on, dude. Bring it on. You want to mess with this? You want to mess with this? Let's see what this offensive line and the rest of the crew can do. Attack. But the passing game, the passing game, I think, is going to be a legitimate stressed part of the offense. As in, they're going to try and use it. All right, another text message here. Please tell people the difference between Purdy against the pass rush and Hurts against the pass rush. Purdy looks scared and rushed. Hurts looks calm and opportunistic. This is what the game comes down to. Well, I just think one guy's a rookie on the road in an NFC championship game and going to be facing craziness. Do you know how many times the whole pass rush thing came up to me with the 49ers? Well, the advanced analytics says, I don't care. What the numbers tell me, the Eagles had 70 sacks and there wasn't even a team close. And the 49ers were tied with the Colts. Well, sacks aren't everything. No doubt, they're not everything. But that's such a large margin that I just can't forget that. There's more to it. 70 and then tied with the Colts around 44 or so. 70 and 44-ish. That's not even on the same planet. So spare me the advanced analytics. Spare me the pressure rate. Spare me all that stuff. If one team is getting that much more, maybe there's coverage stuff that's different. Darius Slay, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Avonte Maddox, James Bradbury. Something that's in the back end that's helping out that front. Or that front just has more beasts than you want to give them credit for. Or it's a combination of both. I just said you can target the 49ers theoretically in the passing game. You don't have that same level of confidence, I think, targeting Darius Slay, targeting James Bradbury, targeting C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I know I wouldn't. on a personal level, there's something that you're just leaving out if you think that front for the 49ers is just as impactful. They're good. You don't get to this point having a bad one. They're good. They really are. Guys are going to make plays. They're going to get to Hurts. They're going to get to Sanders. Things are going to happen in the backfield. There's a disparity that isn't getting enough love and support. Shocker. That's just a common theme over the last couple of days with this football team. Let's take some calls, too. Why not? Here we go.
Man, bros, I've been thinking about the national media thing since the best show today, and what I just come down to is we just got to go out and do business. All right, fuck all these people. Do they even believe what they're saying? Do they even have the facts? Like, they're just out there trying to get views, and you know what? Eagles just got to go out, take care of business, shut all these people up, and, it's fun to watch, fun to get mad at them, but you can't take any of it serious. There's no substance there.
I don't disagree at all. And I still react to it because, well, it is what it is. I react to it, and I know this sounds hypocritical. I share my thoughts on it, but I don't let it affect me to a crazy level. I know it's there. I see it. I share thoughts, but I don't lose sleep over it. I went back and looked at the Minnesota Vikings game in the NFC Championship, 2017. The Vikings were favored by 3 on the road. We all remember the underdog story, so knowing they were underdogs was a part of every storyline. We knew that. That Minnesota Vikings team, though, -3 at the link. The over-under was 38.5. The Eagles basically had that on their own. They had 38. So that 7 did matter from Minnesota. But just let that sink in. In what universe? My point is, by the end of it, just go get that damn trophy, man. Just go get that damn trophy. Get Howie Roseman a second. He could be a Hall of Famer with a second. Maybe a little executive of the year, another Super Bowl championship. Jeffrey Lurie. This could be dynasty mode. Dynasty mode. Tom Brady's an outlier. During the Phillies run, 08, 09, 10, we got one, and we got back there in 09. And even during Andy Reid's era, I always say, that's a good run. I know it didn't end in what we wanted. But if you told me I could sign on the dotted line for Donovan McNabb, getting T.O., Andy Reid, I know my shot and my chances every single season are sky high. It's hard for me to really look at that as a negative. But we haven't had a true, legitimate, serious, massive, intense run of one team with pure championships. Could this be the start of it? Jalen Hurts is young. A.J. Brown isn't old. Devontae's not old. A lot of these players on the offensive line, Landon Dickerson, Mailata. You got someone like Cam Jurgens waiting in the mix. Dallas Goedert still has some age. Still has some age. Is in a good age, good spot, still has some years. Just focus on what you need to focus on. And if the players like this stuff, I tend to believe they do. I tend to believe Brandon Graham goes, Saquon Barkley, how many games did he play last year? What did he come back from? Geno Smith, he came back from sucking at the sport. That's not a comeback player. But BG's highly motivated on his own. So how much does this change? It would be hard for me to believe by the end of this. Let's say they hoist that trophy and we're watching them. I don't think I'd say, hey guys, I know why this happened. Because they didn't get comeback player of the year. You know what happened? Haason Reddick didn't get defensive player of the year. I don't think that's going to be the case. It's because, oh damn, he got double-digit sacks. It's, oh, Haason Reddick had 16 sacks. He got that prior to knowing if he was going to win the award or not. Maybe there's just something else going on. But I'm sure they use it at the same time. I guess. Guess you're always looking for something. I guess. Let's do another.
Yo, bro, it's Jose from from Gilbertsville. Just wanted to say, love the Broads Media. Your take on Philly sports, the Eagles in particular, is phenomenal, man. I'm a big fan. Keep up the good work.
Oh, why, thank you. Thanks, Jose. I appreciate it. Jose calls in to the Fanatic all the time, and he left a little voicemail on Broads Media. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We'll do one more.
Let's go, Birds! And yeah, the whole Jalen Hurts media getting ripped up, I think it's bullshit. I think Jalen Hurts is a top-notch quarterback. If he doesn't get the MVP, he's going to get the Lombardi trophy. That's not a fact. That is a prediction.
Okay, thanks for your prediction. I agree. Lombardi trophy. Let's go. This team is phenomenal. Phenomenal. And they're hosting the NFC Championship team. Championship game against a good team. And you know who's going to win? It's going to happen. It's going to happen. They're too damn good in every area. If you're the 49ers, which way do you attack this team? You got to ask Brock Purdy to do some stuff. He's going to have to make plays consistently for a long duration. He's going to have to test Darius Slay, Bradbury, CJ, if Avante's back, while the front four are going to work. This team's different with Sue and Joseph. So I don't want to hear that, well, against the run game, this run game's different now. They made moves. There was a time earlier in the year where teams could do a little bit more against the run game. That's not the case. And Dallas did a good job of stopping Christian McCaffrey. Don't be fooled just because the 49ers won. It wasn't some dominance by them by any means. They found the way. But Christian McCaffrey, and I'll leave you on this note, 10 carries for 35 yards. Mitchell had 14 carries for 51. And in the passing game, McCaffrey had 6 receptions for 22 yards. The Eagles are going to whoop ass. That's reality. We're going to continue to do it. This week has been an Eagles show every week. It's been every day this week. I'm so ready for this game. I can't speak. There's been an episode on the Eagles every day this week. I'm enjoying the hell out of it. There's 4 teams standing. You're one of them. And you got a good chance of winning. A really good chance of winning. I'm just in love. I'm in love with this football team. That's how I'm going to wrap up the show. Thank you guys so much. We're going to do this again. I promise you. We're going to continue to talk about this team before Sunday. I promise you. Thank you guys so much. I'll catch you on the next one.